realize that money is just a tool and it's meant to be used, you know, then what that does is that frees you up to where you understand, okay, like I am who I am with or without the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could take a dollar bill right now and literally like tear that mug up. Once I tear it up, how much is it worth?
Nothing.
It's worth nothing, right? But no matter what
Mill, you could do better. Jim Jones, you could do better. Rick Raw, you could do better. I gotta see you do better. Wait. Little man, whoever you is, until you feed the kids where you from for 20 years straight. Don't question Rose. Wait. Until you buy 10,000 bikes, 10,000 trikes. Give all the young girls who pregnant Pampers for Christmas for 20 years straight. Don't question boss. You heard me, little man? Get that basket off your head so you could think clear, little man. You going viral for speaking on niggas' names, not because of your talent, not because of your gift. Go viral, player, off of your wisdom that you sharing. You speaking on Meek Mill, boy, you know how many niggas died this summer? They released self-destruction. This niggas dying right now. It's gonna be niggas don't make it to see in the morning. Get that basket off your head, boy, and come together with real niggas around the world. So when your grandma need a kidney, nigga, since you wanna...
What's up, everybody? Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, and the president of the Honest Con Foundation. Enlightenment Challenge. That's what we gonna call this. We ain't gonna call this beef. We ain't gonna call this dispute. We're gonna call this an enlightenment challenge, okay? A good brother from New Orleans, amazing MC, not just a rapper, a MC, a true testimony to the word MC.
Okay, now I got joy everlasting. Okay, I'm serving him with a passion. Bonjour, je m'appelle.
By the name of DEE-1, all right? D-E-E-1. Look him up.
Rick Ross! First of all, I love you, brother, and I want you to know that because you sounded a little upset in your video reply to me. But I love you too much to not be honest with you. And right now, you're deflecting. I was talking about your lyrical content, and you talking about turkeys. I'm talking about you as a hip-hop OG still glorifying murder and drug dealing in your music. And you talking about turkeys? Bro, more people are streaming your music than eating your turkeys. You can believe that, brother. Oh, then you can make fun of my accent and my hair, brother. That's lightweight, you hear me? What am I doing to help my community? Well, my whole adult life, I've been a middle school teacher. Now I'm a full-time hip-hop artist. Just dropped my 10th album. It's called Uno. You should check it out, actually. I've helped to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars in college scholarships for students around this country. Done financial literacy tours year after year, brother. Shoe drives, toy drives, voter registration rallies, prison ministry. I'm currently a professor at Tufts University teaching the intersection of hip-hop and social change, and I'm a fellow at Harvard University. Ultimately, I'm just trying my best to do God's work in this industry, bro. Then you say, won't I go viral with my own content? Brother, you a little late to the party. I've been successful for a while, man, and not having to glorify the things that's harmful to our community. Could you do that? I'm curious. Bro, I work with some of the same artists as you. The Game, Lupe, Big Crit, Juvenile, Manny Fresh, Currency, Kevin Gates, Sway, Charlamagne. These people know me, man. So as black men, let's do our best to do God's work and not glorify what's holding us down, man.
Really cool dude. Really heartfelt, lyrical mastery. Real serious about his passion for music and his message, all right? He is from New Orleans. He is, you know, from my understanding, from the parts of New Orleans that people think of when they think of the hoods, so to speak. But he ain't hood, meaning he ain't hood mentality. He's hood understanding. He's hood sentimental. He's trying to help the hood to grow up, to get better, to have resources, to see the light, this is in my words, of the universe, okay? Because I'm not religious, but he's very religious. He is a Christian rapper. He touts himself. I am a Christian rapper is what he says, you know what I'm saying? His whole everything is for his mission, for his God, and how he feels about that, okay? So I respect him because he's standing on it for real. See, I got Christian friends. I grew up in the South. I'm in the Bible Belt. I'm from Atlanta. ATL, stand up. What's good? For real, for real. ATL into the fullest, if you didn't know. All right. And I found out about this brother through a friend of mine who is another artist in the biz. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dawood Anyabwile, the legend, okay? The torchbearer of the family effort to create Brother Man Comics. which still lives on, okay? Brother Man comments if you know, okay, from the 90s. But Dawood Anyabwile, but he posted up about it on his Instagram a while back and put up a video of DEE-1. I think it was when I'm riding by myself, or riding by myself. I think that's the name of the track, Riding by Myself. Look it up. Look up DEE-1. You're gonna be impressed. You're gonna like what you hear. The brother's good. He got good music. I mean, it's real hip hop. It's fun hip hop. But it ain't, anybody say, oh, I don't like that soft stuff. That ain't real. Life got to be crazy for me to feel it. That's why your ass is crazy. I like all kind of hip hop, okay? And I definitely like hardcore. Love hardcore hip hop. Love, quote unquote, some S-O-M-E, gangster rap. But for me, gangster rap gotta have Ice-T lyrics. It's gotta take you through hell, give you stories, and at the end of it all, always remind you, this ain't the way to be. The goal is to escape this. The goal is to do better. The goal is to get out and not to tell other people that you really want this, glamorize this. And T walked that fine line of, depending on which album and what he was promoting to get the album sales, he did a great job of always luring you in if that was your intent, that you wanted all that gutter, ghetto, crazy, gangster, pimp trick, gangster click, as Outkast had the joke on one of their albums. If you want that pimp trick, gangster click, Ice-T had it for you. But the difference was, T was a real MC, he was a real rapper, he was a real true street cat that understood the streets. He was a dude who could teach you. It was a professor's lesson on what it was, not just a whole bunch of hoopla, hype, and cut the check. I done ruined some more lives and made some kids think it's easy to live like this and get out here and get yourself killed or go to jail or whatever. No, he always told you this is not the way, but I'm gonna tell you about this way because I know about it, So that's the greatest difference. I mentioned that for a reason for where I'm going with this and where I mentioned DEE-1. I'm coming up to it, all right? So here's the bottom line. Rick Ross, Meek Mill, and if you don't know, most people know if you're into hip-hop, and if you follow this channel, you're more than likely gonna know, because we know our age demographic, but I speak for everybody that might be looking, so I wanna make it clear to people, right? So Rick Ross is a famous rapper who I say is the replacement for Biggie Smalls, because the record industry, the film industry, and I'm in the film industry, I'm in the arts entertainment industry. So everything I'm talking about is real talk when I speak from my perspective. I'm talking from inside and outside as a fan or just interpreter of whatever's going on. All right. Rick Ross to me is like Biggie Smalls died and they needed a replacement, because the industry always wants to replace the money they lose. When Biggie was killed, it's like, okay, we need another. I'm just gonna be raw with y'all and tell y'all how I literally know they look at it. We need another fat guy who's real cool, real sly, real street, got that swag to him, but we need another fat boy. Okay. And this has been a developmental thing since the beginning of hip hop. All right? And how it, we started off with conscious fun, nothing gangster about it, but definitely from the streets representing hip hop with big boys like the Fat Boys, who to this day are still, put on some Fat Boys and tell me you ain't dance. I used to love the Fat Boys. They were the truth. Then after the Fat Boys, you had Heavy D, still positive, still progressive. Love Heavy D. Rest in peace, Heavy D, one of the absolute kings of hip hop. You feel me? Then we had folk like, and I'm not really seriously putting these in chronological order of how they came out. I'm just bringing them up as I remember. So then you had like Chubb Rock, Another positive, progressive to this day. Respect, energy, love, progression. Come on, Chubb Rock. Dude was the truth. Still the truth, right? You could throw in Biz Markie. He was a big guy, And rest in peace, Biz is an absolute legend, one of the greatest, not just rapper, but a producer, behind the scenes, promoter, someone who literally helped people's careers. All love, forever, Biz Markie, okay? So I'm coming up to all this. Then, somewhere, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody else big in between and how this thing comes together, right? But then you get, eventually in the 90s, you get Biggie, all right? Things have changed in hip-hop. This is after NWA, and I specifically say after NWA because that is when everything made a switch. Yeah, everything made a switch. And actually you could start with Eazy-E, because even though Eazy-E, you know, was one of the four founders of NWA, I'll never forget, in middle school, his album dropped before NWA's first album. And all of the little knucklehead kids that would be cutting class and stuff would be out in the hallway rapping, I'm Eazy-E, I got just galore. Yeah. I mean, it was like, God, what is that crazy mess? And these kids don't care. They so mad and angry, and something's going wrong at home. They ain't got no fathers, and they pissed off at the world for what life done left them. So they cut class and they hang out and they ditch school, and they're the ones who love this Eazy-E guy. Why do they love him? Because they relate to him, because he's a gangbanger, because he's a hard ass, and he had went through what they went through, and that's why he's like he is. And you know, so folk, you know, there was a turn going on in hip hop. And it's not to say that people who started hip hop didn't come from all that, but hip hop itself it began with the intent of being something to pull you out of all that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna analyze it, but we ain't gonna glorify all this pain. We're gonna heal this pain. But then when there's this era of, no, we're gonna glorify it. Yeah, I'm that bad motherfucker, and I do what I want, and I kick you in your ass, and I slap a beat. Oh, what you wanna, you know? That's when everything went real interesting. And if you lived through it like I did, you created a love-hate, I'm speaking for myself, love-hate relationship with all of it, because for all of the positive, progressive stuff you love, the hardcore crazy took over, because at the same time, crack was beginning. And this was the soundtrack to crack. Gangsta rap is the soundtrack to crack. Trap music later, okay, coming from the South, T.I. and others, is the soundtrack to crack. And once that shit hit, all hell commenced. And hell became the place to be. The party's with the devil. We over here with Satan getting it in, all right? I'm going somewhere with this. I used to say, we party to the madness, y'all. We party, I said we, me too. Hey, you know, if you're going out, man, in college, when I was in college, you know what you're gonna hear? We're gonna be in there, they're gonna put on Dog Pound, and everybody in the club gonna be singing, ain't no fun if the homies can't have nothing. But I ain't, you know, me and my homies, we just homies, but we ain't gangbangers, and we don't have no gang history, and ain't nobody, you know, I mean, I know people who have bordered that life, and some who almost fell into that life, but they didn't go all the way, so thank goodness. You feel me? But I'm saying the point that they didn't, you know, there was a decision to be made on how you are gonna accept this, filter this, if you're gonna participate, because this is our generation. This has become the most popular music that you cannot avoid, and all of the positive stuff that was leading in the beginning, as it began to switch to this is what A&Rs at record companies are promoting. This is what sales managers and people who own record labels are gonna sign. Even the good kids was like, man, I guess I gotta tell them I'm crazy. Gotta switch my dress code up a little bit. I gotta do something else with my hair. I gotta get some more tats. I gotta, you know, all this pressure to be something that you might be, not really, and then ain't at all, became the standard. And then we get everything we've gotten ever since. So I'm giving history of hip hop in short sentences to make a bigger point that by the time you got to Rick Ross, after Biggie, after other folk with this hardcore energy and with this prison industrial complex, I say again, prison industrial complex state of mind, all to accompany that agenda, okay? In every community that it has affected, and at this time in history, it's beyond just saying Black and Latin communities. It is officially anybody below a certain economic and educational, I'm gonna say it again, economic and educational line. Because you can have money and still have a certain mentality, and you easy picking for this licking. And I mean a beat down to your mental, to your ability to move ahead, to your ability to make decisions for yourself and not just follow crowds and trends and do stuff just because that's supposed to be hot and that's supposed to be popping. And as long as it's hot and it's popping, it don't matter that it's degradation. It don't matter that it's dysfunctional. We with it. Because otherwise you ain't gonna make no money. And you know you gotta have some money in this capitalist system to survive. So we all, and I say again, we all have percentages of even that understanding and mentality. Now, I pride myself in being one who is aware of all these things. Play the game and play to win. Definitely know I gotta get capital. I'm on my way to a job right now. Long ass distance, way too long. And yes, I am doing a blue collar job because this is the kind of stuff that a lot of artists have to do to survive. We ain't gonna go on a tangent here, but I'm gonna mention that because of how I can relate to what a DEE-1 had to say and what a Rick Ross had to say. Because a conflict began. An intellectual one for DEE-1, just trying to be dismissive and silly for Rick Ross. So here's what happens. Rick Ross becomes the replacement, like I say, of the new big boy gangster energy. And I'll never forget the first time I heard "Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling." I was like, yo, this is catchy as, oh my gosh. It was a jam, right? I'm a percussionist, y'all. I drum. I have a history of it. I don't do it regularly like I did in high school and all that. And at one time in my adult life, I played African drum. And I've actually performed with a local African drum and dance company. Shout out Manga Dance, all right? And so I got history with the drum and understanding rhythm and beat and the hypnosis of what that is to all humanity, but especially of people of direct African descent, because we are all of African descent, all of humanity, but of direct African descent. I understand the power of that drum, right? So every day I'm I was like, yo, this shit is hitting. It was a jam. I got other Rick Ross joints I love. What's that? Burn. Man, put me in the gym. Burn. I'm pumping weight like, oh my God, I bite these weights. You know what? Burn. Love that joint, right? You know what I'm saying? Other ones he done, him and Drake. What's that joint? Oh my gosh. With the one with my girl, shoot, can't even think of the damn. I'm trying to remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It had a rhythm, it had a thing. Now, lyrically, if I want to dissect that thing, if I want to take away all the cool beat, all the everything like that, and get down to the lyrics, I know, okay, now you're bragging again about being a kingpin of a drug empire. Oh, now you got blocks coming in at the docks. Okay, Oh, you know the real so-and-so gangster and this gangster and that gangster, they all cool with you and they done made you the new king of gangsterism in rap? Okay, all right. Okay. Nothing new. And there's plenty of folk on a lower level of it doing the same thing. But how are they doing it? I always say, like I said, back to the Ice-T code, like, I'm not even gonna be over here pretending I don't do what I did, or that I'm not talking about what I'm talking about, all right? But I'm not going to recommend it as a real way to be. I'm not gonna tell these kids this is good. I'm just gonna tell them what it is. You've created an archetype, you know? Jay-Z used to be it in his own way. Yes, he was, especially for New York side of it all. I mean, come on, to this day, he don't hide the fact, yeah, sold drugs in Marcy Projects. Always talking about the intelligence it took to sell crack has been applied to how I survived in the rap game and made my money. But the only reason I can have a bit more respect for the way Jay-Z does it is he evolved. It's like, look, I'm not gonna keep pretending I'm a damn drug boss. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm owning part of teams. I got liquors. I got office spaces and people who are on payroll. So with Rick Ross, at the point where he broke that ceiling, so to speak, of, you don't really have to rap about being a kingpin no more. You can just be the boss. Just be a boss. Boss does not have to equal street level, kingpin, mafioso, all that other stuff, you can literally now, look, you own wing stops, you own all these other businesses, you have interest in all types of endorsements and things, you've done movies. You know, I was an extra on Superfly. I wasn't in the scenes that Ross was in, but I know people who were. I'm saying, I know he done done some stuff. No one's taking away the fact the dude has charisma, he can be funny, and he damn sure got flow enough to ride a beat and come up with some real catchy stuff that whether you like everything he's talking about or not, you can feel the rhythm, you can dig it, and if you can either directly relate or indirectly relate to what he's actually talking about, you can just absorb it, get what you want out of it, and then be done with it. But for some people, their whole day, their whole life, this is the soundtrack, like I said, soundtrack of the crack era, soundtrack of the continued drug, pimp trick, gangster clique, prison pipeline. Now the worst of it is, it came out years ago that Rick Ross was a prison guard. And everybody knows it. He never even tried to fully hide it. He tried to hide it in the beginning, like, I'm not even gonna act like I know what they're talking about, or, you know, I ain't gonna say he ever said it wasn't me, but I know he was quiet about it when it first came up. Then as time, it just kept coming. I know he's talked about it a little bit. It is what it is. But that obviously gave him some connections to the streets and stuff from inside to what I would consider do a gusto move. What's gusto? Look at the movie CB4. Look at the movie CB4. All right, with Chris Rock, the classic, which was a spoof on NWA. So what I mean by gusto move is, Gusto in the movie was a real gangster played by the late great, forever and a day, Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother, hilarious. And Gusto owned a club where all these little fledgling rappers in this small town, where it really wasn't a gangster town, but he was the one gangster running all the gangster stuff in the town, wanted to get on and do their shows, and it was a talent show in general, kind of. And CB4 developed from Chris Rock and his boys being nothing gangster at all, but deciding at a certain point, man, let's switch up our whole look, our everything, and let's be gangster and see if we can't make this money we not making. And it took off. It blew up, and the rest was history. So Rick Ross got his name from Freeway Ricky Ross, a real live drug dealer who was one of the biggest crack dealers in the crack era. And so, you know, what has happened is DEE-1 has spoken out on what a lot of folk have been feeling. Because all of us who lived through this era, with whatever level of connection and experience to street genocide, we are tired. Folk are tired of what has happened to their families because of this stuff. And we listen to the music knowing, hey, these guys get paid, at least they're not doing what they say they do in the raps. It's just on music, okay, whatever. And we've given our money, our time, our ears, if not the first two, okay, but our ears are still adding up to money, because we all know, like, just this new era of, hey, you watch something on YouTube, those clicks add up to hours that pay, okay? So folk get their money off of our curiosity, our genuine interest, whatever the case may be, and we don't get nothing but the real fallout of funerals, our communities all screwed up. If you don't live in these communities, but if you have a heart for these communities, you want to help these communities like I have in the past and still do in other ways, but I'm talking about directly when I used to teach art in Section 8 housing in Atlanta, Georgia, okay? And you see the fallout. When I was in Brooklyn, New York, going to school at Pratt Institute in '94, and I went for a walk in front of the Fort Greene projects. What the hell I was doing walking over there, but I thought I was I got comfortable enough to think I'm gonna take a walk by myself all the way up to where Junior's was, and I'm crunching crack vials under my boots the whole way, and it blew my mind. I had no idea until that day, literally in counting crack vials, what crack was doing. I knew how bad it was, but I now knew how bad it was. And so the bottom line is D1 went live on Instagram, and I saw part of this live. It was a really long one where he wanted to call out Rick Ross directly. You know, Ross has made a response back to D1, trying to say in so many words, you know, who are you, little boy? Try to demand the man. You know, it's a grown-ass man, dude. Just because he might, I don't even know how old either one of them are, but I know even if D1 is in his late 20s to 30s, he's a grown-ass man. He does real stuff in the community. He's teaching. Boy, when he dropped that, I was like, I didn't even know that. But he's teaching at Tufts University, and he's a fellow at Harvard. That shut it down for me. I was like, man, leave this man alone. You don't understand. And he connected to all kind of street cats, hood-ass dudes who respect him because they want to be. Here's the thing people don't understand about real ones, you know, real gangsters. They respect real men who do other stuff that didn't get caught up in that. Real men with real fathers, folk who had a decent life, who maintain a decent life, who want to have a control over their destiny and didn't get caught up in the games and the stuff put out here to keep us trapped. They respect that. Then you got the other ones that's so miserable, angry, and you know, all of that, yeah, they may not respect that. They may be so jealous of that they hate that. But that ain't D1. He got love from all angles. From church folk to non-church folk to any kind of folk. Folk are with him. People are with this brother. You know what I'm saying? The people are with this brother in the comments and everything. You can see. And it's because, like I said, the older folk over their 30s especially, they tired, y'all. We tired. We tired of going to funerals. We tired of hearing the news. We tired. And we tired of seeing the cycle. You get old enough to see, man, history can repeat itself. The drama can repeat itself over and over and over again until we say enough is a damn enough. And I'm not going to just sit here, listen to this stupid shit and act like it's not having the effect it's having. Let's stop pretending that this stuff doesn't have an effect. Oh, it's just entertainment. No. Some entertainment could be just entertainment, but under the circumstances, it's more than that. Especially when you're dealing with real life variables and you constantly talking about you keeping it real, as that is a huge part of hip hop culture. Are you keeping it real? I'm keeping it real. Well, you keeping it real, then it's got real results. It's not just the art. It's not just an expression to be interpreted and then make a decision. No, it's enforcing actions. It's become the soundtrack to madness. And D1 called it the hell out. Big up D1. The more this happens, it's been here. KRS-One been doing it since the beginning. Public Enemy been doing it since the beginning. And these are some of my favorite all-time hip-hop crews and individuals of all time. Outkast at its best has been doing it. I say at its best because they got a mix of all of it for you. But all in all, at the end of the day, Cass is about that creativity and about that awareness and wake yourself up and live your life on another level and enjoy the diversity of being able to be free. So I could go on and on, but the bottom line is look up some of this for yourself. But in the end of the day, I haven't heard anything else about Rick Ross having another follow-up attack or anything, trying to say something, diss the man, calling him basket head because he got long locks and he likes to wrap it in like a turban style and put like he'll have a cloth around it too. Trying to call him basket head boy and all this other. He trying to go on the goofy, we joning in the lunchroom type BS. This grown-ass man done challenged you on some real facts. And all you come back with was talking about, man, I give out so many turkeys every year to families in the holidays and I dress young ladies. But if the families who you're giving all this stuff to listen to your music and let their kids listen to your music and the kids want to be you, then they just want to be another gangster who gives out more turkeys. But that don't change nothing. And that's what D1 said. Man, them turkeys don't change nothing about them lyrics. Them lyrics is what's going to be left. Master P said recently, he said product outlives talent. He always saying that as he promotes the cereal and everything. And I got respect for P, because P is another one of these gangster type rappers, but he ain't, you hear P in an interview or whatever, he kind of admit, like, that was what it was, But that ain't all there was to me, and that's why you see this businessman who became all this other stuff. So I respect that about P. I've seen P do some other stuff since he was at that state that I didn't like. I don't forgot. I ain't forgot. I remember that damn video. I couldn't believe it. I was ashamed of P. I couldn't believe it. At his age, at that point, he would go back and do that. I understand you do your concert and you're going to rap all your old tracks for your fans and all that. That's one thing. But new madness? And this is old now, but I'm saying when it came out, it was new madness for a man who was already doing all this other stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. I still respect P a little bit more for how he's moving in that regard. I kind of look at P kind of like another Jay-Z about it. You've elevated your thing. You've understood. I can't keep pretending I'm in them streets. That becomes the insult. That's why people are starting to have a problem with Ross. Because, dude, you get to a certain point of money, even your street fans gonna be like, man, that dude, man, he ain't real. I don't know what he talking about. He don't be in the hood. Because you can't do that. You got to be like, I'm from there, but I'm not there. I'm not there. It's like, is you about it? No, I'm about selling this cereal, this rice, and everything else he got going. So big up to that for P. I really do respect that. So, folk are fed up, man. When they stuck in the hole, whether they doing legit stuff or illegal stuff, like, I'm going on a construction job now. I'm an educated black man. I'm a BFA black man. I'm here to do whatever I gotta do because artists have to wear all these other hats. We end up between parts of society. You find yourself dealing with street level cats all the way to the mayor's office. I end up out here with guys and get to talking with women and men who are literally the people that Rick Ross might have a fandom with. People who purchased his albums and supported his music and want to feel they can relate to him because they come from these streets for real. But when they get to the point where they like, man, I'm still going out here busting my behind on this construction site or at this warehouse or at this whatever, this dude getting all this dang money, he's telling me he give us a turkey every year, but he still act like he banging the sets and all this other. Man, that shit almost ruined my life. I went to jail for that. I got shot for that. I had to redo my whole reality and remake myself so that an employer would know that that's what I come from and still hire me because this is the only kind of job I can get. You know what I'm saying? They fed up, y'all. Nobody want to hear that sitting in a mansion. Don't nobody want to hear that. Dude, like they want you to just like, hey, take it down a notch. Be our example of it can happen for me too. But shut up about all that. Yeah, I'm just like you. No, you ain't. Now you're going too damn far. You are nothing like those people. Those people got a different reality. And if you respect them truly as your fans, you got to stop pushing the weight, so to speak. You got to come up with a new way of getting that work. And that's what DEE-1 challenged you to do. Salute to DEE-1. What y'all think about it? Hit us in the comments. The saga continues.